Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Dosage. Episode 102, we're covering Inside Xbox X019. Hugs and Kisses 19. I'm here with Caleb and Rob again. Welcome back, guys. How you doing?
Yo, yo.
Ooh.
That's it.
Going, guys?
That's it. This is yo. Oh, we got a hey yo. Thanks for the host, Smalls. Of course, we're live on Twitch here, recording live. If you want to follow along and chat with us during a live show, you can. And we do these generally on Sunday nights. There's no specific time frame, so turn on those notifications if you're a follower or a sub to our Twitch. If not, obviously you're listening this back on any of our podcast platforms, Breaker, Apple, Google. I use Spotify. And we talked about this a little bit last week about what everyone uses. So however you discovered us, let us know. But let's dive into the deep. And we got a lot to talk about tonight. I know Rob and Caleb have some fantastic topics, as well as myself with X019. So let's kick off our first segment here. Nerd News. Caleb, where's my jingle?
Oh. Ba-ba-ba-ba-da.
It's a work in progress. I like it, though. It's good. It's good. All right. Well, since my name's in there first, I guess I'll go first. Just a couple of quick mentions, nothing really to dive too deep into. We saw in the last week the release of the actual poster for Black Adam starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I've learned that I don't know enough about that movie, so I'm double excited now. We saw Mark Wahlberg announced he is in talks to possibly join Tom Holland's Uncharted movie, which should also be really cool. They released the new Sonic the Hedgehog trailer with the redesigned model for Sonic. Preliminary responses have seemed to be extremely positive. I thought it looked a heck of a lot better, so I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. Movie roles moving along, we also saw Andy Serkis is apparently now cast to play Alfred Pennyworth in The Batman with Robert Pattinson. So that was another big announcement. And then the biggest one, I wrote it in the middle of the notes, but I wanted to save this one for last because it hits real close for me. We learned that Robert Downey Jr. will in fact reprise his role as Iron Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe on Disney Plus's What If animated series, which, you know, I gave that pause in there as if it was like a kick in the shins, but it's not. I think that's actually really cool because it doesn't diminish the journey that we took with Tony through the MCU, but it does give us a little bit more of the man that I think we're all going to miss going forward. So that's what I got for Nerd News. Some highlights from me. Caleb, what do you got for us?
Yeah, well, before you move on to Caleb, sorry, Caleb, I don't want to interrupt or.
What's up?
I want to kind of give a feedback on some of these things here real quick too. For the Rock being Black Adam, I think that's very exciting. He's going to add like a really cool element to comic book movies. I think he is the type of character that is very much a comic book character, right? He's overly animated. He's a wrestler, former wrestler. And I think that is something great to bring to this world of, sure, we've had the serious, the Dark Knight being a more serious thing, but we also have this great blend that we can do with overly animated. I think The Rock is great for that role. About the world itself, I don't know enough about it to really be excited for the content.
Yeah, have you guys seen the poster, his post, The Rock's Instagram post?
Yes.
I saw the poster, yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to lie, I didn't read who the post was from at first. Like, I didn't see the account, I just saw the poster. It looks a lot like Dave Bautista to me. Like, I thought for sure that's who it was in his face. Which was just kind of funny, another wrestler who obviously has played on the other side in the Marvel.
Right, I was going to say, he's been a hero. So,
yeah, but I thought that was interesting. So I was a little caught off guard and eventually saw that it was The Rock and got pretty excited. I think he's going to play really anything well that's kind of over the top like this. So.
You mentioned Mark Wahlberg joining Tom Holland's Uncharted film.
Hey yo!
Hey yo! Thanks for the host, Batman. We're on Twitch for if you're hearing alerts. That is why. Regarding Uncharted, I don't know if I can get behind that movie. I'm excited because sure, Tom Holland, but what are what's the timeline? Is it like a prequel to the games? Is it like, what is the story that's going to be told here? Because Tom Holland is way too young, and his sidekick, is it Mark Wahlberg, going to be playing Sully?
That is the rumor, but it was not officially in the announcement that I saw, so I don't know.
Like, this is just too.
It could be his older brother for those who played the fourth game, but
sure,
that's a pretty significant gap for that too, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know if we're ready for even diving into that story yet. Sure, it was the last game in the series so far, but like, where are we going here with this film? I just don't want it to be like a Tomb Raider treatment, you know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This is the first time I even knew about the Uncharted film. I'm not really big on the game. I didn't really give it a shot ever. That's probably more shame on me than anything else. But
it is.
I think my take on it in general is just I don't know that every kind of major video game needs to try and be a movie. I'm afraid that we're moving into a world where we're starting to try to monetarily capture. Too many chances here. I don't know how to put it, but I don't know that this needs to be a movie.
Yeah, I agree. It's a fantastic game series, and you really should give it a shot, Caleb. I highly recommend it. If you have a PlayStation, it should be in your collection, personally.
I tried when the fourth one or third one, I can't remember, whichever one came out. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to borrow like the first two from a friend. And I started playing one, but it was at the point where the graphics and the way that the game moved and ran was nowhere near the way current games were running. Mm-hmm. So I think I just kind of shot myself in the foot on that one. I was like, dude, I don't know if I can force myself through this type of gameplay, the clunkiness of some of the graphics. I'm sure good gameplay and everything else, but when I was comparing it to whatever else was out at the time, it was hard for me to just kind of
Let me ask you this then: did you play it on the PS3 or did you play the quote remastered trilogy? It's not really remastered, but
it's a great question, and I do not remember.
Okay, do yourself a favor, get the version on PS4. I put in quotes because it's not like a true remaster. It is an up-res and a slight improvement on the original game. The original looked really good, but yeah, as far as mechanics go, it is clunky in comparison, but don't make it seem like it's a clunky game. I don't want to give it that type of snapshot review. For sure. But yeah, do yourself a favor before I get on the whole topic of Uncharted. It's one of my favorite games and one of the sole reasons I got a PS3 back in the day. You really should play it.
No, for sure. It looks like from the chat here, somebody liked it not as much for the gameplay, but for the moments between the actions, where it's like playing a movie. I do like stuff like that.
Yes.
So maybe I should give it a little bit of a rerun here.
Definitely. You can always chat too. We're not ignoring your chat. We're going to circle back and answer questions, and we have spaces to do so. They're encouraging us to do more wrestling content coverage. Caleb and Rob here aren't the most active wrestling viewers. It might be a tough poll. It might be something that I could maybe swing Rob to get back into, but that'd be like pulling teeth with some of the content that's out currently with him.
We'd definitely wrestle you over it.
Right, we'd be wrestling over that idea. And there Kevin says, ew, wrestling. I'll get to the other feedback on a film trailer there, and indeed, hi Redbeard, how you doing? Thanks for joining us in chat. Touching on the Robert Downey Jr. thing, Rob mentioned something in a total opposite perspective or take on the emotions of it. Personally, I feel it does diminish everything that happened. Spoiler alert. In Endgame, if you haven't seen it, please tune out of the podcast for the next couple minutes. But I feel it personally diminishes the end of Endgame, having him come back at all.
I guess here's my take. So he's coming back as a voice actor on the animated series, correct?
Yeah, and I think that's different.
Isn't that what he's doing? That is what we said, right?
No, there's he's confirmed for some sort of live action role as well in the near future.
Oh, okay. That's what I didn't realize. I thought it was.
Can you hear me now? Am I back now?
You are back now.
No, the What If series is animated, and he is confirmed to be reprising his role in the What If series.
Right.
I have not seen him confirmed to reprise Tony Stark physically alive in the MCU.
That is entirely true, though. I thought he was for the Black Widow film.
Even if he is, I still feel like that's extremely different because you're going way back in the past. It doesn't in any way undo what he did, and it's not going to influence what will happen.
It doesn't change. And Kevin says, yes, he's confirmed for Black Widow. And I get that it's in the past. Like, I don't know. and it doesn't change anything.
I'm not saying you're not entitled to that feeling. I just wanted to be clear that the thing I was talking about was strictly the what if, and so that's my response was also about strictly the what if. I wasn't even considering Black Widow, nor the potential for him to come back as the AI.
Right.
I was commenting strictly on his return for the What If series.
Right.
I feel like either way, we can probably all agree, no matter coming back or not in whatever way, we will probably still love him 3000.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. I agree. Yeah, it'll be nice to see him. This is one of the things that we talked about. If you didn't check out our Endgame spoiler cast, Caleb, you were part of that.
Yeah.
Who is it with? Trevor was with us, right? Am I remembering the past correctly?
It was Kevin.
Kevin? I can't remember.
Trevor, I think, was there.
Trevor
possibly,
was there.
But Kevin was on the...
Yes,
right.
He drank out of...
It's been a busy year. I apologize, Kevin and Trevor. It's been incredibly busy.
The Millers are basically the same person, right, guys?
Kinda.
All right, so what's the last one? Are we looking at Sonic here?
Yes, I want to get feedback on that. Somebody in chat, I think it was Trevor, said, "Ew, Sonic." What is wrong with Sonic?
He's just being a troll.
Okay.
I'm a fan of the change. I think a lot of people's input on the initial Sonic obviously was hideous, doesn't look like it. I understand where some people said he does look more like an alien, where they're trying to portray him as coming from a different world. And I can see how the first version of him might look more like a realistic style alien versus now he currently looks like the cartoon in real life. But I just think Sonic being such a, basic part of most people's gaming lives or pop culture life, I don't think that's one you can really mess with the aesthetics of. I think that the current way he looks, the way they augmented it, changed it over, I think it's beautiful, and I think it's going to make the movie much less distracting when you see him on screen.
Seriously, thank the Lord and baby Jesus that a company listened to feedback of the community and didn't just release this thing this fall, because it was supposed to be out this fall. They delayed it to do the reviz on it all.
Yeah.
And my God, even if it was a slight change what they did, it looks so much better now. So much better.
Amazing.
And honestly, I'm excited to go see it. I was a big Sonic fan. We've talked about it. I'm not going to go deep diving into that topic. I'm a big fan of Sonic. So I'm excited personally to see this. And Jim Carrey, come on. This is going to be a fun kids movie.
Absolutely.
Did you guys see that somebody immediately was like, okay, they fixed Sonic, so now answer me, why is Eggman not fat? And I was like, oh my God, stop it.
Get out of here.
They're going to delay it again. Who was the purple character they wanted to add into the game now, too? Did you see those
Big
memes?
the cat? That was also a joke, though.
I know. I'm just like, come on, people. Stop.
At least I hope so. Good Lord.
Chat says, not going to lie, I told Robin and Sarah they can have fun seeing it with Alex without me, but now you want to see it. Honestly, like, if you gave any feedback,
I didn't want to see it.
I mean, I did, but I wasn't like overly excited. Honestly, if you complained about the look and now that they fixed it, if you were part of that community that complained on social media in any way, you owe it to them to go see the movie now. I'm just throwing that out there.
Absolutely. You basically have stake in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in debt to them because they changed it for you, whether it be one tweet or a podcast, complaining about it. You owe it to them to go see this movie.
Absolutely.
I'll say that's been one of the rare times that I've seen a meme just be straight up positive. It's the Lisa Simpson one where she's in front of the big screen, and it's usually like hard to swallow pill kind of format where like she says something that's sort of controversial but sort of true. And this time all it said was if you complained about, or not, no, she said the company fixed Sonic, I think we owe it to them to go see the movie because they listened to the community. And I'm like, yeah, that's 100% true.
Yeah.
Amen.
But that's all the feedback I have. Caleb, do you want to do a run through before your section, or do you feel like we covered?
No, I think we covered. Yeah, I'm ready to kind of move on if you guys are good.
Yeah, let's hear Caleb's nerd news.
All right. So just a little bit, one more recent, another one probably a little more removed from its current timeline, but definitely worth talking about. The first one is we kind of noticed, and we talked kind of on our inner team chat here, that we have the power apparently to change reality through this podcast. We brought up the Motorola Razr. Remember, go ahead, nerds, hold that phone, fold it over, and put it in your pocket. And guess what? Not a few days after that, did Motorola publicly release the consumer version that will be available to purchase. Oh, I didn't even look when it was going to be available to purchase, but is going to be available to purchase. And there was hands-on videos, and there will be review videos soon coming up. But it was out there. We got to see it in action, real life, in people's hands. And it's very interesting. So for me, kind of goes back to what I talked about. It is going to be an expensive phone. They're saying it's going to be about $1,500, which I think just comes along with the terms of new technology. I don't think that makes it a viable phone for most people. I think this is still more of a proof of concept, but I think this format of a folding screen in a phone, if you're going to have one screen that actually folds, is the better way to do it personally. So that kind of came out, and it was pretty cool. Did you guys get a chance to see that video I shot out or any of the content about it?
I did. I'm still an Apple guy. No offense. At that price point, I'm still an Apple guy.
And I want you to avoid the price point. I want to talk about the technology itself. The form factor of if that cost $200, what do you think?
I mean, 200. Yeah, that's a more reasonable price. That's cheaper than an iPhone. So.
Yeah, again, I want you to get away from the price, the manufacturer. What do you think about the technology itself? A phone that can be just as big as the one you currently have, but if you want it in your pocket, it just takes up half the amount of space.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued by it. Honestly, I don't have a lot of things in my pocket. Even my phone now, it just go, well, I guess that's not entirely true. I put it in my hoodie pocket. But that's never been like a big thing for me because I've preferred, honestly, bigger phones because I want a bigger screen. I was never for the smaller versions. I always got the XL or the Plus version, if you will, of the phones. So.
Yeah, I think this gives some people the better of both worlds. It is a bigger screen with a smaller kind of, realty space when it goes to be put away. I find this one probably would be hard to get adjusted back to, not having a giant square rectangle in your pocket. Now you just have a little baby thing floating around in there. But I think that the technology behind it is cool. And if it can be, like I said, a proof of concept of what we can look at in the future, it'll be interesting. I do think we'll probably see a whole bunch of articles come out in the next week or so when there's review units out in the YouTubers and media's hands about people breaking the screens and stuff getting underneath them. We'll probably see a little bit less than we saw the Samsung Fold personally. But I'll be interested to see how the public really starts to accept it as it comes out more and more.
Yeah, as long as they don't explode.
Yes, we don't need any more of those. So
Samsung's got the market on that, remember?
Always will, always. Rob, any thoughts on the Razr before I move
on? Actually, seeing a physical unit kind of gave me a better fuzzy, if you will. Like I wasn't down on it before. I like the concept of foldable display tech in general, but I was never personally a huge fan of the form factor of the Razr. But I think it actually makes a lot of sense for this one.
Yeah,
especially with the outer display. I mean, I'm not going to get one personally, but I certainly would not dog on anyone for getting one. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. And like I said, it's not something that I don't think any of us, or more than likely most of the people even listening to this podcast right now, will probably buy just based off of price alone. But I'm more excited about the technology and what that means as far as where we came from and where we could potentially go in the future with cell phones. And, I think that when we had the first flip phones and, before Palm Pilots were the thing, I don't think that you could have ever explained to somebody what an iPhone was going to be and how vastly, important it is to most people's lives now. So if this is the, bridge that takes us to the next thing, I think it's a cool looking bridge. And I'm excited to see what it goes to next.
Simpsons did it.
For sure.
So, all right.
Simpsons did it.
What did you say?
I said the Simpsons did it. And honestly, flip phones we can thank Star Trek for. In the 60s.
Yeah, there you go. And I think you go back to, like I said, Mr. Game and Watch on as far as like dual screens and flipping things and technology. I think that was another interesting kind of form factor to see how it's affected technology today. So that being said, technology today, things are moving. We didn't really talk about this because the podcast had come out. There's a version of the podcast that come out after, the earbuds or the Apple AirPods Pro came out. But I want to talk about that and just kind of like, Bluetooth earbuds in general. Is the world really ready for a wireless world? I personally don't like that idea. I liked having a headphone jack and something I can plug in and wrap up versus having to worry about losing these little baby things. I want to get you guys' take on that in general, as well as if you saw what the AirPods Pro looked like as far as specifically being compared to Weeping Bell or Bellsprout.
I did see that comparison, and I see it You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I for sure see it.
If you guys are not familiar, they're listening, feel free to just pop on Google or the web browser of your choice and search AirPods Pokemon or AirPods Bellsprout, and you will see several options where it compares them directly. It's a dead ringer. I don't think they ever meant that, but I think it's very funny.
Yeah, the other major comparison I've seen is they compare it to the pea shooter in Plants vs Zombies.
Yes. Yes.
That's another good one that I see the parallel for sure. Um,
But what's your guys' take just on, is the world ready to go to an all Bluetooth sound world? Are we ready for this?
I don't think we're ready, but I don't think we're being given a choice. And it's really interesting that we jump straight to this because one of the things that I was looking at when I tried to find a release date for the Razer, because the initial thing I saw was the November 13th, and I'm like, no, that's not the actual release date for the phone because it's not there. But anyway, the point is, one of the specs I caught on that when I was looking over stuff on the Razer is that it also doesn't have a headphone jack. And
Correct. Yeah,
more and more phones are going in that direction, especially as you go higher in price. Some of your more quote unquote budget friendly phones still have them,
Absolutely.
but the iPhones went away from it. The newer high end Samsungs, the Galaxy S and the Galaxy Note, both moved away from it. The Pixel 4, does the Pixel 4 have one?
No, it does not.
Yeah, see, I thought so.
There it is on screen. Perfect. Thank you, Travis.
There you go. Good man. Stealing my job.
Sorry.
It's fun, ain't it? But anyway, so the point is, more and more phones are going in that direction. And when I upgraded my phone a little bit ago, I went to the Note 10 Plus, but I specifically scooped up a deal that got me the Buds, the Galaxy Buds with it.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love them. I didn't think I was going to like them, but I love them. That being said, I'm still mad that I don't have a regular headphone jack on my phone.
No, absolutely. For the job that
Go ahead.
Dead air. So for the job that I do, yeah, I sometimes I need a headphone jack to be able to test things in classrooms. I do IT in a school, and so sometimes I need to make sure that the audio works. And so now I don't have an easy way to plug in to test it. So that's one thing. And two, before I went to Google, I had LG phones, and they're very well known for having a high quality DAC that sends out really, really good quality sound through the headphone jack. And so I think we're slowly starting to get there. My take on it is more of like a financial thing. There's not tons of great, inexpensive wireless earbuds, so I don't know that the world is ready for your everyday kind of person, regardless of what they make, to have to go out and buy those wireless versions. So that's where I stand on it. I just wanted to get you guys this quick little take, and other than that, yeah, I'm kind of ready to kind of keep moving down our list.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, I wear Beats. I love my Beats. I don't like earbuds. I sleep with earbuds to fall asleep to, but I don't want something that I'd lose. And personally, I didn't even want to get an iPhone 8 when it launched because of the removal of the headphone jack. I prefer wired to wireless stuff currently. I don't see myself investing. If I have the option, like Beats has the option for both Bluetooth and wired, all in one headset, I'm going to do that over just, wireless completely. So
yeah, I like that idea. I think the only thing that has come out of the kind of removal of the headphone jack for the world is that now the word dongle is more familiar in people's lives because you have a dongle, and that's just a fun word to say. So I think that's the best thing that's come out of this. So if you guys have a dongle at home, go ahead and grab that thing and hold on to it tight.
There you go, Lana. There you go.
Dongles forever. All right. Travis, what's going on in game news? What do you got for us?
Oh, that's everything from you covered everything. Oh, all right. So game news. This is a big section tonight. This is the topic of the show here, X019 Inside Xbox. What we're going to do here, I'm going to browse through, I guess, all the announcements I have. Then we're going to circle back to notable things, as well as acknowledge chat on these things if you want to dive deeper into some of these topics. There's a lot to cover. It was an hour-and-a-half show. I'm not going to make it into an hour-and-a-half section of this podcast. I promise you that. We're going to fly through some of it.
We won't let you do that.
No, I'll bore you to death with it. So, Rare, the company that you may or may not be familiar with, announced its new game, Everwild. That was the thing that opened up this show. The Outer Worlds dev, Obsidian, which again, this is recently an acquired studio from Xbox, or Microsoft rather. They announced Grounded. Think Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with this one. We'll dive more into that one as I found that one interesting. Bleeding Edge, March 2020. Ages of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is available today, which was as of last week, so it is available currently right now still, and will be free on Xbox Game Pass for those who subscribe to the service. If you're unfamiliar with Age of Empires 2, it's the Definitive Edition, and it is a real-time strategy game. And if you have Game Pass, what's stopping you from getting it?
There you go.
Life is Strange devs' new game is Tell Me Why. This is a very interesting one. If you played Life is Strange, the visual style is very similar here, and it's a unique, deep story. From the trailer, I couldn't tell a lot, but I think it's very topical from what I gathered from it. Sea of Thieves. This is a game Rob and I had talked about when it was launching so long ago now on DNA. We wanted to be excited for it. We even both tried it at various periods. I believe you did. You said you did, at least.
I did.
They have an update coming November 20th. It'll be called The Seabound Soul. We may return to talk about this one. The update includes a new lore-focused Tall Tale quest as players look to uncover the secrets of Ashen Dragon. Firebombs are also being introduced with this update. They showed that off in the trailer. Basically, firebombs burn your ship down from the cannons. Pretty cool visual.
Firebombs.
What?
Firebombs will make anything more exciting, right? That's the idea there.
Yeah, I mean, it looked cool. Don't get me wrong. I think we'll return to this one and talk more about it. I have a feeling.
I'm down.
Halo, the Master Chief Collection. God, what a game that could have been. Will be available on PC for an upfront cost of $39.99. It'll also include Halo Reach for the first time ever in 4K. Wow. And for the first time ever on PC. That entry in this series is being added to the collection on December 3rd across all platforms. That is huge.
That's massive.
Locke and I talked about Firefight Fridays as a reoccurring series on the channel. It sounds good in concept, and we will reach out to our community to see if that actually would be something, a return on time investment for us.
Yeah.
Of course, if you want to check us out, a quick plug here, we are available on twitch.tv/doseofnerdacumen. Turn on those notifications for all our live programming. And of course, you can check out any archived thing on youtube.com/doseofnerdacumen. Microsoft detailed over 50 games coming to Xbox Game Pass over the coming months, including a few of the major titles being added today. One of them I already downloaded personally, Rage 2. I had a lot of fun with Rage on PS3, and I was very excited to try out Rage 2. However, I have to clear some space on my Xbox One X because I don't have enough space for the 60 gigabyte download. As mentioned, Age of Empires 2 is available, and several more games are launching. Hey, yo, thanks for the host, DKA. Several more games are launching today, including, note this, sorry. While Darksiders 3 and The Witcher 3 will be included in the library before the end of the year, so no definitive date there. We've talked a bit about Witcher 3. I don't think we've ever talked about the Darksiders franchise in any of our shows.
No, I'm going to be honest with you. It's another one I'm not familiar with.
Rob, you familiar with it?
We can definitely discuss it more in depth when we circle back around to it, but I can't give the same endorsement for Darksiders 1 as I would for Uncharted 1. Okay. I scooped up the War Mastered Edition on Steam and went back and tried to play it, even with a controller, and I just was like, what the hell were you thinking with this control scheme? So bad.
Batman in chat says worth a download. Never played the first one. Noob says, will we see a Rage remastered version? That'd be fun to see. Hopefully.
Yeah. Game was good looking back then. It'd be real good looking if they upscaled it.
And that's all they really need to do. I don't think it needs much else.
Yep.
So we also got some awesome game teases from Microsoft coming in 2020, including Carrion, several Final Fantasy games, which have been pretty much Nintendo in the early days or Sony exclusive. So Xbox is finally going to get their hands on some Final Fantasy games. This game I'm very excited to see. Streets of Rage 4. Yes. I love beat-em-ups.
About time.
I love Streets of Rage. It was such a fun franchise on the Sega.
My childhood. Yes, that was all we played.
They're just fun. There's nothing more to say on it. They're fun, and they were good beat 'em ups.
Yeah, for sure.
This is one that we're going to return to in depth. I have a feeling, Rob, you might have a lot of insight on this, maybe more than I, but it's something I'm very intrigued by, and it could relate to the topic that we had last week, Stadia. Theirs is called xCloud. Microsoft xCloud preview program is getting a big update with more than 50 games being added to the streaming service, including Madden NFL 20, Devil May Cry 5, and Tekken 7. We will return to what the xCloud is to discuss this in detail. Additionally, in another sign of console makers crossing the streams, xCloud will now support, are you ready for this? DualShock 4 PlayStation controllers.
Na-na-na-na.
That's Nintendo.
I know, but I couldn't resist.
Hey, no, it fit. It worked. See, we need a soundboard. That's our next purchase. Flight Simulator New Planes confirmed. Again, that I am anxiously awaiting the release of. I will definitely be doing some live streams of this game. For the first time, the Yakuza series will be available on Xbox consoles. So exclusive to Sony for so long, finally coming over to Xbox. These are some games, and I say some, that you should play. To highlight them, Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami. If I'm saying this terribly, punch me. Kiwami 2 will all be available on Xbox Game Pass. Yet another reason to get Game Pass, and more so heading into 2020 and into the new console, Project Scarlet. Microsoft Dungeons, which I am very excited for as well, is now set for a launch of April 2020, though no precise release date was confirmed. I'm a big fan of Minecraft, and this is going to be an amazing dungeon crawler for those that don't know what it's going to be. Another
basically Minecraft Diablo edition.
Yes, which, yeah, right? Ooh. Two things that Caleb really enjoys as well, so I'm going to sell Caleb on the game. I'm just going to bother him and be like, hey, poke, poke, poke. Did you get Dungeons yet? Yeah. Kingdom Hearts is coming to Xbox in a major way next year. Square Enix confirmed Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 plus Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue are all making the jump to Xbox One in 2020. This is huge for those that are one console household. Oftentimes, we speak on this too because I feel very privileged and fortunate. We've talked about this, Rob and I, to extensive detail. We are not one console households. We have the ability and luxury and thankfully get all the consoles that we enjoy. So for those that don't have that same privilege or may be very particular or have a tighter budget, this is huge. To finally play games that are on opposing consoles. It's giving less of a reason as time goes on to buy a console based on a particular game. That argument is going away.
I think we've still got a pretty hefty amount of time before it fully does, but the gap is definitely closing for sure.
Oh, we're seeing so many more doors open now versus the way it used to be.
Yeah.
Wasteland 3 is slated for a May 19, 2020 release and got a new gameplay trailer. We can post a link to it if anyone's interested, but honestly, just YouTube it. And that covers the highlights, not everything. There was a lot more shown and announced, but these were the things that I took away from the press conference in London late last week. And let's work. We all have docs in front of us if you're wondering how we're recalling this information. We're cheating. We take notes. We do our homework.
Wait, you mean you didn't sit and memorize this?
I did not. It sounded really memorized, though, didn't it?
That's pretty good, yeah.
Let's start from the top. Feedback. What do we want to dive into first? Chat. If you got any feedback, too, what do you want to hear us chat about? We'll start with either of you guys. Go ahead.
I was going to say, while we're waiting for them to dive in, I'm excited to see Rare come out with something new. It's been a hot minute since they've done anything I've cared about, and I used to love Rare as a developer. Basically anything they put out I considered was starting off at a top tier, and it could only go down from there.
What's your favorite Rare game, or what one do you remember the most?
Oh, Donkey Kong Country, the first one.
Okay.
Everything about that is iconic to me.
And
What about you, Caleb? What do you got?
I think I'm most excited about the Halo here. Halo was probably my favorite series, just probably of all time in general. I know
yes.
Halo 1, we played the mess out of Halo 1 when it came out. With my brother had an Xbox, I didn't have anything, so I was always just kind of tagging along. And I'll never forget just being able to kind of, there's one of those hop in, hop out couch play games where you hop in, and if you're too slow, it'll kind of like catch you back up to where your buddy is, anyways, along the path. And I don't know. I was just a big fan of it. I used to be a multi-console household. There's a bigger story behind that if you ever want to dig into it. But I currently own a PS4 and a Nintendo platform. And so I'm excited to be able to get a chance to crack at the Halo games again.
You were just being booed by chat. Just a heads up on that, Caleb, if you didn't catch it. So we can boot him from chat because I got your back, Caleb. I am a Halo guy all the way. We've had many debates on that especially in the early days of DNA. I think I was the sole person that supported Halo. I was outnumbered. So it's really nice to have you a part of this and having someone that has my back besides my wife, because both her and I love Halo as well. I'm still trying to convince Rob.
Times. My grudge with Halo is personal.
Yeah. You still
on my birthday. I can't stand for that.
Where? You know how many shitty birthdays I've had, to be honest with you? You know how many I've attended multiple funerals on my birthday in my lifetime. So
that seems like a thing I wouldn't do.
When it's your grandparents, you kind of have to.
It's a terrible juxtaposition.
Yeah. For me, it was the memories of every friend I had coming over to the house, bringing their Xbox, plugging into a router to have a giant LAN party in multiple rooms where you have different teams of people. This was one of the first games that we ever did it with, and for me, it brought in more than one person I could play with at a time, and it was just I don't know, it's such a blast to have such a big community in the early games like that.
Me? Did I go away?
No, you're still here.
Who went away? Who's going away?
I don't know.
That's just it for me too. Like it was the early days of online gaming, and then the reason I signed up for Xbox Live was for one to try like Halo 2 back in the day. But really, when Halo 3 launched, I've been a subscriber to Xbox Live consistently for the last 12 years because I started with Halo 3. With my consistent subscription. And like I said, I dabbled with those cards, before then to play Halo 2 and random things. But it was from Halo 3 on where I was all about online gaming. It sold me. So Halo, for me, holds that special place. It was also some of my first money I ever got. I forgot what it was for, but as a gift or for a present for doing something, I had purchased my Xbox, and I got Halo Combat Evolved. And it just, there's significant memories. It's much like the memories that a lot of us have with GoldenEye.
Yep.
GoldenEye was definitely my couch / local co-op memory, where your guys is clearly, Halo is where we've got all the fond memories from, but for me it was definitely GoldenEye for that specifically.
Speaking of a Rare game, the publisher, developer.
Yeah. Which, again, for a long time, Rare could do no wrong.
And then they were acquired by Microsoft.
And it's been a long time since they've done anything right since.
Yeah.
I think in the mind of nostalgia, I think the next one that I'm excited for down the list is Streets of Rage. Like I said, that was just another one of those childhood memories of sitting there and cranking this game out with my brother, and I'm excited to see something like that come back.
Oh yeah, dude, for real. I'm stoked for that too. I loved Streets of Rage.
Do we know if it's going to be 3 to 4 player? And do we have any confirmation of that?
Well,
I haven't seen any.
There's a 4 in the title, so there's that.
So we're just gonna go with that.
We'll go with that. So if that's the case, we're gonna make a loose pact. Us 3, will do a live stream when that comes out. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
I'm a little
yeah.
worried if the
Rob says
number
we
in the
have to.
title means thing. What does NFL 20 mean? Because that could be scary.
I
Gonna
don't
get
know.
real crowded on that couch. Um, Speaking of rare, though, stepping slightly back, Sea of Thieves is also rare, isn't it?
I want to say yes. Maybe they have partial
It's a
assistance in it.
Chat, back me up here. I'm pretty sure Sea of Thieves is developed by Rare, and I think that was another reason that I wanted to be excited about it. And we had said when you were going through the list that we were going to circle back to it, and I did try it out. I got into the beta before it launched, and I was having some amount of fun with it. Not so Silent Bob confirms it is rare.
Yep.
I was having some amount of fun with it in the beta, and until I discovered that there's no such thing as a non-PvP lobby. And I'm just so tired of that in gaming right now. Like, let me play online with my friends without making me get murdered.
Everything is going towards that, though. And one of the things that we haven't talked about, did we talk about last week the Fallout 76 controversy? I don't remember now.
No.
I don't think we did. No.
Okay.
I remember that one.
This could be a quick, short topic since you're speaking on this, the lobbies. There is a war in Fallout 76 between the premium subscribers who paying $100 plus a year for the premium service and the non-paying people right now. And there's no private lobby support. There's a lot of these other things that have just so many issues. It's something we're not going to dive deep into as a topic, but if you're interested in what's happening with that, do a little bit of Googling because it's kind of crazy. Because that game is a hot mess.
Yeah, I'm frustrated.
Are you playing it?
I didn't even get it. I waited. I heard that wasn't sounding good, and so I waited, and it didn't sound any better. And I just basically was like, "Screw it! It's not worth my time."
Yeah, Smalls in chat. I know she got it. I have it, and I don't think either of us are even playing it anymore.
No, I also bought it for David last or whenever it came out as
November,
a gift.
1 year ago.
Yeah, and he doesn't play it anymore either.
Yeah, Fallout 4 was my first time in that world. I bought it. Me and my brother split it on Xbox, and I just enjoyed the mess out of that game. Just being able to kind of roam free, just my own self, my own world, however I wanted. And I was just, I guess, so appalled that they took that away from me going into the next one.
Yeah.
Not
well, and the franchise has been that way, and so like I was skeptical going into 76 in the first place for that exact reason. I'm like, this is a huge departure for your franchise. It's going to be weird. You're going to have to be careful, and they were not.
And I mean, it worked for Elder Scrolls Online, I feel, but I just don't know if it.
Well, because Elder Scrolls has traditionally been a very populated world anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's predicated on the idea that there's somebody somewhere all the time, where Fallout is very sparse.
Or up to this point was, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Caleb, let me ask you. Go ahead, Rob.
No. I was just going to close out what I was saying about Sea of Thieves is that, like, I see them continually putting out new content, and like Fallout 76, I briefly get hopeful that maybe it'll get better, but it doesn't really seem like either game is ever going to course correct on the things that make me not want to play it, and it just bums me out.
Is that intentional?
That's it. That's the end of it.
Intentional pun on Sea of Thieves course correcting.
Yes.
So there you have it.
Wholly intentional.
Two quick things, real quick. We're on the topic of these two games. Sea of Thieves. The experience I had with it was intimidating at first when I played it, because the chat that I was with, the random people I was playing, very involved on their positions on navigating and manning the stations of the ship and working together. Like, they were totally into role playing it, and that was cool. My first time trying it, it was a bit much because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. They were getting like upset with me, and I just wanted to say "R" the whole time, and they didn't like that. So I was quickly done and shunned from that game. And then, since we're on the Fallout talk, real quick, you mentioned 4. Have you played any of the other Fallouts?
No, 4 was my first time into the world. And like I said, I was very happy with it. From what I understand, I really need to look at New Vegas and give it a go. I heard that was a really, really good game.
Yes. If you play New Vegas, you should also try the Outer Worlds. Yeah, Obsidian.
That's what I'm excited for. I think that's going on my Christmas list. If you guys remember from last episode, if you listen, I'm the type of person that struggles to share easily with my games. So I'm currently kind of crunching out a little bit of Borderlands 3, a little bit of Pokemon. We'll cover that more in the What You Doing. But yeah, I'm trying not to overload my library because I am not very good at sharing. So that's going to be a Christmas list for me.
I mean, Rob and I can also join in on that. How many stacks of things that we have unfinished or unplayed.
Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah, that's true.
I'm good on that section. I don't know if you guys have more stuff that you guys wanted to hit or go back to, but I'm cool. Those are the biggest things that I was excited for.
Yeah, I have one major thing that we want to talk about. There
were a couple things from the chat I wanted to throw out real quick before we move on to anything else, because they won't be worth coming back to otherwise.
Yep.
Sarah pointed out that we all got into the Sea of Thieves beta, and it was fun up until another ship worth of people found us and proceeded to just follow us around and murder us the entire time, and that is kind of what ruined it for me for sure. But she also commented on the Fallout 76 community and pointed out that one of the best things it has going for it is that the community for it is amazing. And that is actually all I've really heard about the community from Fallout 76, is that even though the game has been all kinds of broken and screwed up and unfulfilled promises, the actual player community has been, very, very good to each other from what I understand, which is pleasantly surprising considering the state of online gaming these days.
Oh yeah, that's definitely good to hear.
And then the last thing was actually originally addressed to Caleb, which you caught in the chat, it looks like, based on your comment. For those who don't know, Not So Silent Bob was pointing out to Caleb that Outer Worlds is available on Game Pass if you have it on both Xbox and PC. So, Caleb, I know you saw that, but for the listeners as well, if you guys are interested in it, it might even be a reason to give Game Pass a shot, because I actually have really been enjoying it. So
that's a lot of game for to get included in it.
Like Game Pass is
no question.
Game Pass is the best service out there. Sony attempted it with their what the heck was that called?
Speaking of bungling stuff,
I don't know. Firefly.
PlayStation Now.
PlayStation Now, thank you. Game Pass has nailed it with their, for one, games alone that they're adding to the service. I was a 10-year plus supporter of GameFly. I have since canceled that service because of Game Pass.
There you go.
It is that solid that I abandoned a 10-year subscriber to a service. That's huge. So if you have...
That's a big deal.
I mean, you should clap, because Microsoft nailed it with this.
That's a big commitment to break, and it just like you said, goes to show the worth of Game Pass.
It really is worthwhile, and it's unfortunate that not as many people have an Xbox One in their household compared to a PS4 or other things, because it is a better package in that regard. And this is not talking about exclusives or other things that you're interested in, but as far as what you're getting and options to get, it is a better console in that regard. That's for another episode of Console Debate, and I'm going to ignite the chat room here in a second. And they're going to start sending me hate mail. One of the games that I wanted to talk about, too, that I found really interesting, speaking on Outer Worlds and Obsidian, Grounded was really interesting. If you're into survival craft games, consider the most popular one right now, Fortnite. It's kind of a shooter craft.
I've heard that one, yeah.
But Grounded, think Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I mentioned that in my list of all the announcements. But it's really that. If you've ever seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, they get shrunk, and they have to journey through their backyard back to the house. Well, this is just that. Everything is enormous. Well, not really. Everything is normal size. You're just shrunk down. There are bugs, ants, all kinds of things. You're in a garden. Really cool thing. And you're building stuff, and you're shooting and fending off ants and surviving. They didn't really dive too deep into stuff beyond that, but it looks really fun. It's a community-driven game, of course, like Fortnite and these things out there that are popular, but they're capitalizing on the success of what is making money out there. So smart move on their part. It could be fun to play. I think it's going to be something fun to dive into and give a try. Whether it's going to hook me and keep me coming back every week, it'll be depending on the content and the gameplay itself, and then, of course, the community. But it's intriguing.
Looking over. Go ahead.
I was just saying it's intriguing. That's all I
You're
have.
looking
on
over
that.
some of the images. I just looked it up. I remember seeing this, but I guess I didn't know that was the name of it. And yeah, very excited for this one. This one looks like it's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
Can't be worse than Don't Even Think.
Oh God. That was a community recommended game in our DNA community. We tried it. Check out our archive. That was
It's
something.
out there.
It's out there, man, and that was an experience. Let me tell you. I think the last thing that Locke and I definitely want to have a short conversation on in the stuff that was announced, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe Rob doesn't care, but xCloud.
So I do care, but I don't have a lot to say on it because I knew it existed, but I actually completely missed that it went into active beta until
Preview.
earlier this week. And comically, I found out that it happened because I saw an Imager post about a guy who was at a family function and was bored and tried to load it up on his phone. And according to the post, or maybe it was Reddit, I think it was Reddit. According to the post, the guy's phone overloaded and caught on fire.
Is it a Samsung?
It was not.
It was a fold.
Did it fold in half?
Did it fold?
I think after
No,
it
it was
burned,
not folding.
Dongle with him.
You need the dongle.
That's why it happened. He didn't have his dongle. Left his dongle at home. But no, so that keyed me into the fact that it was out there somewhere in the wild, and I was like, oh shit, I want to check this out. And so I did go sign up for it. But I don't have for the beta. I mean, but I don't have any direct experience with it, and I don't know what's on it.
Or a spare phone to use.
Well, 50 plus games.
Yeah, and so really, I'm interested. Just my main interest in it, I suppose, is kind of my same interest in Stadia. I want to see how the technology is evolving because PlayStation Remote Play was, for me, not very good. Like, I know other people have talked about how, oh, it works super great, I use it, and it's awesome, and it's just, I've never had a good experience with it, and, you know, when I was trying to do it, it was on my own local network in my house, and it was garbage, and so I really want to see how this technology evolves in the wild for use outside of the house, you know what I mean? And that's what would keep me into both Stadia and xCloud.
Well, I think an easy comparison here would be PlayStation Now, right? I think this is going to be like what Stadia is going to perfect or improve upon. Maybe not perfect is the best word, but improve upon. Same with xCloud. So a lot of the things that I have intrigued by is hooking up an Xbox controller to your iPhone. Let's give that as an example. And just playing my game, streaming it right from the cloud. There, it's an Xbox console in the cloud, so that's basically how it would work.
No, for sure, and I think this is something we also kind of talked on our little inter-team chat about is predicting the future. Last week we did talk about how we thought that Stadia was going to struggle, and how Disney Plus wasn't going to have a super clean start, and both those have definitely happened. I think Disney Plus is much better now, but Stadia, we're still kind of waiting in the sidelines to kind of see what happens with that.
Speaking of Disney Plus, I'm kind of frustrated with Disney Plus, a specific feature or a lack of. Have you guys messed around with Disney Plus or get it yet?
Oh yeah.
So
I haven't actually signed up for mine yet.
Maybe it's just my login, or maybe it's just not a feature. I was excited to watch The Simpsons, right? We talked about that a little bit last episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have a resume where you left off, or like how Netflix has it when you come back to watch the series to start on episode 2, have that red underline like you've watched that episode. You just go back and click on an episode to watch. That's it.
Interesting.
There's no resume
Does it
watching
hold
for
your
the
place
series.
if you quit mid-episode?
Not that I'd seen, no.
Wow,
My
that seems like a
frustration with
massive oversight.
No, for sure. My frustration is similarly, I would consider small. Obviously, this doesn't affect the ability to watch an episode, but I just am not happy with its organization of things. Like,
Oh, it's a mess.
Me and my wife were looking for like the classic original Disney series movies, like Brinked, Motocrossed, Double Teamed. These classics, just like for me in my era of movies we watched on Disney Channel growing up, and there wasn't like a section of that. There was originals, but that was originals to Disney Plus, and when you scroll through things, there's not. If you get too far, you have to like scroll completely all the way back up to get to the header of the menus. at least on what I've been watching.
Yeah, and there's weird things too. Like they separate certain like sections by like here's the 90s, but it's not everything from the 90s. Or here's like our anime archive. It's not everything. You have to like go into another thing, or you have to go into the search thing, and then it's a mess.
No, but I would still say that in my personal opinion, that this is somewhat of a nitpick. They did it. There's a bajillion things to watch. It does look pretty to click through. And the things we've watched, I haven't had troubles watching them, given a couple days after launch.
Yeah, that's worked. These, like you said, nitpick things. These are like, I don't know, maybe I have my expectations high because it's Disney and they have unlimited funding that everything should just be perfect. But yeah, no, these are little things that can be easily improved upon. It's just, streaming is not new.
No.
Versatility and intuitiveness of these interfaces, there's no reason you should have some of these things that we're nitpicking.
No, for sure. But I will definitely see, in my mind, I would say in the next 4 to 6 months, an update that patches some of them.
And which they will do. I mean, it hasn't even been out a week yet, so.
No, absolutely. But I'd say if it's a battle of the streaming, powers that are new, I'd say Disney Plus is definitely it has Stadia on the ropes.
Yeah, definitely.
So, well, very cool. I'm good on that last little section. Again, you guys have brought up some really great points, things that I even kind of overlooked. I'm excited about a ton of things on this list that came out from the XO. So thank you for sharing that, Travis.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Rob, you got a small little tidbit for your game news for this week?
I did. I'm sure there probably was a heck of a lot more than what we've covered in this episode, but the only other thing that wasn't major but was important to me, if you guys are not familiar, on PC, Epic Games gives away a free game or two every week, or on some sort of schedule. I think it's every week. And this week's free game was The Messenger, which, if you're not familiar, I've done a couple of streams on because I absolutely love the game. It is a love letter to Metroidvanias and to classic 8 and 16-bit games. I can't stress enough how much I adore this game and how much exposure I want this developer to get. So by all means, if you have a PC and you have an Epic Games account, please, please, please go grab that game. Tell your friends. I mean, I know giving it away for free doesn't do much for them in terms of money, but the game's been out a while. I just want exposure for the devs so that they get love.
It definitely doesn't hurt them. Yeah,
for sure. And if you're on the fence about what it is, or if you catch this later on once it's no longer the free game, which, given how podcasts work, is probably the case at this point, I believe it's only $20, and you can absolutely head up our archive. I did a couple of different episodes of the New Game Plus run where I was just kind of trying to get through it as quick as I could, but you can see the core gameplay and some of the mechanics, and I highly recommend it. It's out there. Go grab it. It's available on Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, Epic, basically anywhere you can get games. It's on Game Pass, which is how I played it. Definitely check it out. It's an awesome game.
Very cool. Looks cool. Yeah, I just looked up some of the graphics. Definitely a fun kind of throwback to style game.
Yeah. It's super good. I love it.
As always, we close our show with a segment that we like to call What You Doing?
What you doing?
What you doing?
So we need a soundbite that we need to have triggered from Caleb there for that one.
We'll get one then.
So
what
Caleb,
are you doing?
Caleb, hit me with it. Maybe I'll cut it from this one. So what you got?
Oh, okay. Hey, Travis, what you doing?
Great question, Caleb. So here's some of the things I've been doing in my free time over the course of the last week. Playing a little bit more of Luigi's Mansion 3. I try to get through, maybe a floor each time I play it. I don't want to rush through the game because I truly want to collect everything, enjoy it, and take my time with it. I have a tendency of burning out on games if I play them too much. A great example of that would be Mario Odyssey. Caleb and I actually beat that together when I got that one. And I did it in a short amount of time. I think it was the first weekend it came out, and you came over on that Sunday and we finished it, which was crazy.
Nice.
Go ahead.
I partially regret being there because then when I beat it, I was like, well, dang, I already know how to do it.
I asked you too. I was like, "You sure you want to hang out for the ending of this?"
It was worth it though. It was just too exciting. That was the reason I bought the console. So I was very excited to have that experience with you so early on.
Oh, it was fun. I had a blast doing that. If you don't know, you could play 2-player in that, and he was is it Hattie? What is the character name?
I think it's Cappy.
Cappy, thank you. Hattie. Stupid name.
Hattie.
Anyways, wow. I'm going to get some hate for that one.
I feel like playing 2-player with Cappy or Hattie. I do feel like it's almost cheating though. Like to be able to put that much extra damage without even having to be in danger as Mario. I don't know. It was fun. But it was definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely easy mode, but then again, whatever. It's a Mario game. There are certain elements that are incredibly easy, and then some are not.
Yes.
There was a kid in middle school named Hattie, says Warline in chat. So there you go. Shout out to Hattie in middle school back then. I was thinking of you. So I talked about this last week, and I did end up getting, because I had some promotional credits that I had to use, and I picked up The Witcher 3 on my Switch. A lot of people were like, honestly, I'm played it 100% in handheld mode, which is a lot of the reviewers out there recommended. It's not so great docked. Frame rate issues, resolution issues, but it's somehow better. I don't know, whatever. But I mean, if you know the game, it's a massive game. 16 plus DLCs, plus 2 main expansions for the world itself, all on a single card. There was no download for the game when I got it. None.
Wow.
So it's incredible that they packed it all on there. And like I said, the game runs fine in handheld mode. It's great to online, sure, as I'm winding down at night to play a little bit, kill some enemies, go to a town, set up my next quests. So it's just more so of a pick up and play for small doses kind of thing. Another game that came out this past Friday that we talked about last podcast was Pokemon Sword and Shield. I picked up the bundle, and I'll be 100% honest with you, the game's amazing. But I only know so from watching. My 4-year-old son took the controller, and he has played it 100% of the time. I have not been able to play it. He has played it.
It almost makes me want to cry.
I mean, it's fine. It was a good thing because, I'm passing along the love and joy that I got 20 years ago playing Pokemon for the first time. On the Game Boy.
He's definitely not too much younger than I was when I started playing Pokemon. That's very cool to hear. That makes me very happy. My heart is warm.
He loved it too. He was wanting to find the, he keeps calling it the brother character, even though it's the friend. The brother catching up to him to keep up with him, and then all the moms are his mom. He's not really getting it, and he can't, read all the stuff on the screen, so I'm kind of narrating, but he's clicking through a lot of it, so I'm trying to, make up a story as we go, because we're skipping stuff. But he's really having a good time with it, and he's figured out the battle system, and he's gained somewhat understanding of the strengths, at least maybe by accident, but he sure seemed like he knew what he was doing. He was battling. Yeah. He picked, this is the most important thing, too, your starters, and we'll talk about it, I'm sure, with you. The starters determine your game. He picked Scorbunny.
Okay.
So he was exactly like me. I generally pick fire type. And we had to name it Fire Bunny.
Of course.
So
Fire Bunny, classic.
Yeah, that's his pick. So I've been watching that. He's had fun with it. I can't wait to dive in. He's playing Shield. I'm going to be playing Sword. And definitely recommend getting the game. It's beautiful on console. The gameplay is just what you wanted out of a Pokemon game, and it's
perfect. They nailed it.
They did. It's been worth the wait, and it's finally here. Do so. Get this if you have a Switch. It is a must-own for the Switch. The last thing, well, 2 things. They're both of the same. Star Wars. We talked about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order last week coming out. Played it, and it is not the game I expected, but this is a good thing. I thought it was more going to be like, what was the game on the 360 PS3? Rob, help me out here.
Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed, thank you. I thought it was going to be more so like that. It's not. It is an easier Dark Souls type game set in the Star Wars world.
I've heard it's amazing though.
It is great.
Yeah, that was actually the description that I got too. That it was a Dark Souls Star Wars edition.
Yeah. And like, I'm not mad about that, but it's not what I expected. But I am thoroughly enjoying just kind of the exploration and learning how to battle each enemy. Laura Lion says an easier Dark Souls. Nonsense. It's a great game. I've had a lot of fun with it. My son really enjoyed watching it, and he wants to help use the lightsaber. He's really drawn to that too. So getting him to get into Star Wars is another exciting nerd thing. So real cool.
Yeah.
And the last Star Wars related thing, what else I'm doing? I watched the first 2 episodes of The Mandalorian. I will not dive into spoilers for those that have not yet, but I've been able to watch the first 2, and they're short. I watched them both in less than an hour.
Very good.
So
I'm excited to get in there. Hey Rob,
Yes, sir.
what you doing?
You might notice I don't actually have anything in the list this week.
Yeah,
It's
I'm actually curious what you're doing now.
it's been a pretty low week. For those of you who watch our Nerd Acumen Wrestling program, you know I was supposed to join Travis yesterday, but was unfortunately not able to. You might be able to tell that I'm a little bit more gravelly than normal. I've actually been kind of under the weather the last several days, so I haven't been doing much but watching YouTube videos that I have been ignoring for several months.
You say gravelly, we say sexy, but okay, either way.
how you
Well, I
doing? Not what
appreciate
you
it.
doing. How you doing?
Yeah.
So that should be the real segment. There you go.
Yeah.
But no, I mean that's really it. You know, I haven't really had time to play any more Luigi's Mansion. Plus, you know, I don't want to run off and leave poor Kevin behind since he and I have done the bulk of the game together so far.
Okay.
I did finally convince him to quit being a wuss and start playing Overcooked. Although I get the feeling it was probably a one-off. But that's about really the most exciting thing that's been going on is played a little bit of Overcooked, caught up on a lot of backed up YouTube videos. For those of you that don't know, I'm a big fan of game theory. And so there's been some new theories that have come out, and I like to try to watch the live streams when he plays the games he does theories on if I can. So I've been going back through the archive for that. Most recently, I watched his live streams for Giraffe Town, which is a game I will never play, but it was extremely bizarre and weird.
Smelly cat.
I definitely
says
feel you on
Lana.
the YouTube thing. It's a struggle, you know, to cut when you fall behind. Boy, they add up. So I feel you on that one. That does take some time to actually knock those out when you're behind. So
Yeah, for sure.
you throw your shadow on that one.
Lana says smelly cat. Is that referencing the news for a Friends reunion, or is that just referencing a smelly cat?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess that was some nerd news we didn't cover. There is the rumor of the Friends reunion coming up.
But
Yay.
they're not describing it as to what it is. They're just saying that it's going to be something.
Maybe a movie.
My guess is it's just going to be like a you know, on stage sort of catching up moment. I don't think it's going to be any sort of a
Like an Inside the Actors Guild kind of thing.
That's
You know,
my guess. Yeah.
They need to
I
do
can see that.
an opposing show to that. Call it Enemies, and just be having a bunch of people just like complaining about one another, and just you know how like you just talk crap about everyone. It's just a show about that. I don't know.
So very cool.
So Caleb,
Yeah.
what you doing?
Well, let's see here. Life's been pretty normal. I made some chili today. It was mucho delicioso. I think that's how you'd say it. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Sword. I waited up at midnight. I went into the GameStop, wait in line to pick it up. I was the 4th one in line. Very happy about that.
Yeah, you
My
sent
wife
me
couldn't
a
believe it.
message. What at like 12 something at night?
Yeah, I don't condone this, but I was in the car on the way home. Wanted you guys to let you know that I was on it, ready to go. It became a little bit more stressful when I got home. I wanted to play it. This being the first, major actual new game, whereas Pokemon Let's Go was not really new. It was just, Pokemon Yellow revamped, really.
Yeah.
And so, being the first new game to play on a major console with a big screen, I wanted to do it in the living room with my nice big TV. But I currently have a in-the-wall HDMI cable issue. I hide my cables through the wall and don't have them all strung through yet. So I tried doing it. It was frustrating, and so I just unplugged everything and came upstairs to the easily accessible TV. So I played it for a long time, went to bed way later than I should have. Was very tired at work. Tried playing at work. Got a little bit afraid of getting caught, so I kind of canned that one pretty quick. I kept you guys up to date. I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, you're giving us play-by-play on that.
Yes, I was. Yeah. Actually my biggest fear was like that a kid would have it and like be walking by, and then like the local play pass where they noticed each other would come by, and like he'd try and come find me. I was like, I don't want to get ratted out like this. Anyways, today I put a Pokemon in my Pokeball GoPro Plus thingy from Pokemon Let's Go. So that was exciting. I'm going to see how it does after I've been walking around with it all day. I wanted to see your guys' thoughts on naming Pokemon. I name almost every single Pokemon that I catch, especially if it's one that I know that I'll use. And my naming scheme goes like this. I look at what the Pokemon looks like, and I name it like that. So I picked... And this is where it gets bad because I don't actually know the real names of them. I picked the grass type starter. I think it's Grookey is his name, I believe.
Yeah.
Or Grooley or something.
Grookey.
But
Grookey sounds right.
It's Grookey. But I named it Bongo because he's got sticks and he bangs on things. And I spell things weird. I throw extra H's in everywhere. There was, let's see, last in the Pokemon Let's Go, there was like a squirrel thing that had like a toupee on his head. I don't know what it looked like. Donald Trump, so I named it like Trump something.
I remember the memes when that one came out.
Yeah, so I have all sorts of fun. So you guys, I'll have to, maybe next time what I'll do is I'll write down a list of some of my favorite named Pokemon and see what the take back is on that. So
I'm going to
that's
disappoint.
what I've been doing with Pokemon. What'd you say?
I said I was real quick on that. I'm going to disappoint you. And how I learned the names of the Pokemon?
Yeah.
I don't name them. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you do the exact opposite of me.
Yeah, I don't name any of them.
It's just I find it to be more fun. One of my friends challenged me once in high school to play through a Pokemon game, and you can't use your boxes. You can only use your inventory. The 6 Pokemon you carry, and you have to name every single one you catch, and you can only catch one per area. The very first one you come across, and when it dies all the way, you can't revive it. You have to let it go, and it creates this sense of like you get to know your Pokemon and love them, and you don't want them to die. And so it's I think that part of inspired me to name all the Pokemon I get. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, I was enlightened of that game when I worked at GameStop years ago. Somebody had challenged me to the same thing. I never actually took the challenge, but I'd heard of that, and that sounds really fun. But I've never tried it.
What else sounds really fun is I pre-ordered Animal Crossing New Horizon. It's going to be mainly for my wife. She's an Animal Crossing fiend. She currently has my 3DS in purgatory. She just never lets it go. She always plays it to play New Leaf, and so I'm very excited to get this for her, and then we'll have to figure out how to share the Switch, or maybe I'll get her a light. I don't know. So beyond that, we're just currently in the beard fight of 2019. I have a beard. She doesn't like it. We're fighting, and there's that.
When's Animal Crossing due out? Is it March?
That's a great question. I had an extra $5, so I tossed it on. It is in. Come on, scroll wheel. Oh, wrong way. Click, click, click. March 20. Yep.
Okay, awesome.
2020.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that. I'm a big fan of Animal Crossing, so it's definitely a day one purchase for myself.
Yeah, I am super excited for that.
Yeah, for anybody not familiar with it, from my understanding, you start off on just like a almost deserted island, and you completely build the town on your own, including paths, house locations, and everything. I'm very excited about it.
You're still in debt with bells, I'm assuming.
Yes.
The new gameplay mechanic looks amazing. It's a nice change, a first significant change in the franchise. So this will be a welcome change, I think. Lana
there
says,
you go. But yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Boo. Sounds like we're all keeping busy. And right now, are you growing a beard because of November?
Well, actually, I'm actually very glad you asked. I didn't start growing it because of November. I go on a cycle of I grow it till I'm like, oh, this is stupid, and then I shave it. I don't like to keep it very closely, shaved, just because it's a lot of extra work, and I'm typically a lazy person. And so I made it this far, and then November started. Then I'm like, well, I mean, I'm already here, right? So there's no sense in me cutting it now. Like, I might as well grow it out a little bit longer. And so the big breaking point here in the Beard Fight 2019 is we have a wedding to go to next Saturday.
Oh, no.
And it has been requested of me not to have a massive beard to go to the wedding. So we're thinking about it. Really, I'm thinking about it, and make sure she's not standing behind me. And she's with the buzzer. But yeah, not because of it, but it's just a good excuse to keep it going, I guess.
So I think a beard is okay if it's like maintained for a wedding. One thing that I did for a wedding that I was actually in that I would never recommend anyone to do, I rocked a man bun.
Ooh, that hurts a little bit.
Apparently that was the thing to do in 2016, so I did it. So there's that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Oops.
Now I feel like I have to rock one myself on our next camera-oriented outing.
No, like the man bun in regards to shaving the sides, like the douchey man bun.
Yeah, the undercut man bun.
Yeah, not like long hair and you just wear it up. Like that's different. Warline says I disgust him. Sorry, nah, mine was definitely the shave underneath and like the douchey. Like, sorry to those listening out there that have that.
What I'm most excited about the beard is when I do shave my beard, I view it as a blank canvas of fun, and so I usually shave it in stages. You know, I'll shave it once with some mutton chops, and then like a goatee, and then I'll knock the mutton chops down and have just a goatee, and then I'll do like the mustache with the giant soul patch, and then sometimes I'll go down to just soul patch or just mustache.
I wish I had the picture that you showed me years ago with the tan line with your mustache. Because I'd throw that up right now on the podcast if I had it.
Yeah, well, we'll get it going next time if you guys want to talk about it. Basically, I dyed my beard black going in to play some college baseball in Florida one year, and I rocked a giant black beard that had grown out for like 4 months in the hot Florida sun. And when I shaved it at the end of the week, I had like a very distinct tan line across my upper cheekbone. It's an interesting one, and we'll definitely get a picture up for next week.
Yes. You should just post it with no like text to the DNA page, no context. People wonder why there's a random picture of you.
That would be funny.
Warline, I've been disgusting my wife for years. That's just what I do best is regarding a chat comment now. But that's
You gotta be good at something,
right? That's all I really have for myself. Rob, Caleb, do you have any closing remarks?
No, I think we all just need to remember that this podcast apparently has power. Because remember, last week we did talk about the Razer phone, fold it in half, put in your pocket, and we talked about Stadia and the other streaming services tanking a little bit. And lo and behold, they both happened. So be careful what you say. The dongle becomes a thing. We could be in trouble.
Watch it trends for some like significant news event this week.
Oh my gosh!
So weird. We're taking next week off for our podcast. I will be in Chicago with the great Henry. We'll probably do some behind the scenes video footage of that. And Caleb, I got something for you.
All right.
Henry got us a meet and greet while we're there. And guess who we're meeting?
You're meeting Donald Laird.
No, a wrestler, dude.
Oh, sorry. You mean Sting? Don't say it. You're meeting Sting. Stop.
I'm meeting Sting.
No. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So the three of us are going to go to a meet and greet Saturday morning to go get a picture and autograph.
Ask him if his neck's okay and when he's going to come back.
I will. Just for you.
Thank you.
So that should be fun. I'll share some information about that.
I am not at all jealous.
No?
I am beyond jealous.
Well, there were several options. There's like a Bailey, Sasha Banks one. There's the OC.
You picked right. It doesn't even matter. You picked
You know, I didn't even pick it. It was a surprise. So he surprised us. So, like, it was an incredible surprise. Like, guess what? You're meeting Sting. Like, okay. So, really cool. Shout out to Henry. Thank you so much. This is going to be a good time. So, for those that don't know, we're spending the weekend in Chicago. It's a 4-night event. Friday night SmackDown, Saturday night NXT War Games, Sunday night Survivor Series, and Monday night Raw. It's a 4-day pass. So, we're going to get to do it all. Wow. And the tickets were only $250 a piece for all four.
Really good value.
All four. So...
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, super excited for that. So that's what I'm doing next week. And then we'll return in a couple weeks. And Lana says, yes, I did get a Playboy signed by Maria. And I've also met Carmela at a gas station. Yes.
I think I've heard those stories.
Yeah. But in 2 weeks' time, roughly, we're going to be returning for our 103 podcast. It's going to give us some time to prep for this one, too, because this is a pretty big podcast. It's a pretty heavy one. We want you guys here in chat involved, and we may be even taking a caller or two. So, if you want to be involved with the podcast, let us know. Join our Discord. We'll get you phoned in, and we'll answer questions or have a conversation on the topic. And the topic at hand is Game of the Year 2019. So, as I said, it's heavy. God, I don't even know what I think Game of the Year is. There's a lot to cover here.
Don't spoil it. We have to process.
I do have to think about it, honestly. There's a lot of good stuff this year, but what is the best? It's going to be a huge topic. So join us for that. That'll be 103 in a couple weeks. Of course, if you want to watch any of our stuff live, we have a wrestling show on the DNA Twitch. Again, that's twitch.tv/doseofnerdacumen. We are live every Tuesday, every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stay connected with us on social media. We have a Facebook. We have a Twitter. We have an Instagram. Find us there. Dose of Nerd Acumen. Just search for it. We also have this amazing podcast if you're listening later and not live on Twitch. On several things, as I mentioned, Spotify, Google, Apple. Those are your main ones. We're available on many others as well.
Yeah, basically, if you can find podcasts there, you can probably find us there. And
if you want to follow any of us personally, do you guys want to give out your social media info?
I'll just give my address. My
social security number is...
Come visit me at
123
My Street.
123 My Street.
My Street. Bing bong. Oh, God. There's the doorbell.
I'm actually not super active on social media, so it's not worth it, but I'm usually Bellacam, which is my handle on most things, maybe Bellacam12. It's my name backwards and then the word ham. So there you go.
You ham bone.
Yeah. You can find most anything I say or do worth seeing or hearing through DNA as it is. But if you guys ever want to follow me directly, I do have a Twitter account that is also technically just me, quote unquote. That is also Locksteady, but with a 0 instead of the O because somebody already had the one with the O, and I was very sad.
I laugh, but I have numbers in mind too.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's it. You know, I am also not very active on social media, but when I am, it's usually directly through or tagged in DNA anyway. So you can catch me there. I'm trying to be more active on Discord, so if you guys are not already part of our Discord server, get in here. Excuse me. I recently installed a bot that's got a very social heavy focus on it. I'm going to try to get some of the games that it does going here in the community, and hopefully we can see some takeoff in Discord, and I'll be around here for that for sure.
That'd be exciting.
Whoosh.
And then I may even do some Discord-specific streams. For those of you who don't know, you can actually stream games directly into a Discord channel. I've been testing that out with some low-key stuff, and you know, I might even start doing that, so this might be another place to see some of the weird stuff that we're playing.
Boom. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, though, this has been episode 102 of the Dosage Podcast. Again, feel free to follow us. Tell your friends. Tell your family. And that dude sitting next to you, awkwardly watching you as you're listening right now to our podcast and probably chuckling to yourself or just have a weird look on your face, tell them too, because they need to know. But thank you all for listening. We got an
No, I said I'm a dumb.
Oh.
When I tweeted out the and made this Facebook post for going live, I marked this as episode 103, and I didn't even notice it until just now.
Oh, there we go again. We're just predicting the future because there will be an episode 103.
There will be. Yep. Join us next time for 103. This has been 102 of the Dosage Podcast. Thank you all for joining us. I wish you all a wonderful day, night, whatever it is. Just have a great time. And again, thank you for listening.
Thank you and good night.
Thank you. Good night indeed. We'll see you or hear you next time? Question.
You'll hear us next time.
Yes, there we go. Until then, take care.
Bye.